top story now. We've been witnessing chaotic scenes outside Brackenfell High School this morning. An EFF protest is getting violent as police use water cannons and tear gas to disperse the crowds. This gathering stems from a matric dance hosted for only white pupils at the school in Cape Town. Let's get the latest. eNCA's Ronald Masinda and Aisha Ismail are out there for us. Ronald, very good morning to you. Yes, in the past half hour or so, we saw things heating up there. What's happening at the moment?
Well, tensions continue to simmer, Yuveka. We are now hearing from the EFF that they don't want the media near them. So we are going to step back a bit because there's quite a hostile scenes, as you can see in the background. The EFF leaders are trying to form some sort of a line where there is still a standoff between police and the EFF. We are seeing EFF supporters still in conversations with police. Given what happened earlier on, where there were quite a number of violent scenes that we saw, water cannons were fired rather, and also we witnessed some tear gas. We didn't see any people injured at the stage, nor did we see any arrests, but EFF members and supporters continue to come in their numbers. We are led to believe that there are around 30 buses that will be around here carrying EFF supporters here in Brackenfell.
Well, Ronald, what happened to actually spark the violence just a short while ago?
So according to the police, there was only around 100 EFF members that were expected here in Brackenfell, of course, to hand over that memorandum to the school principal and to voice their concerns around issues of race at the school. The police feel that there's quite much more than 100 people that are here. In fact, there are thousands, Yuveka, so they feel they were within their rights because the police had formed their own perimeter near the school and they felt that the EFF supporters had breached that perimeter.
All right, Ronald, they are there to hand over a memorandum. Just from listening to your chat with Dan in the last hour or so, it seems that there aren't any pupils there today. Nobody's there, despite also matric exams being underway. Do you know if the staff is there? Is the school principal there to actually receive this memorandum?
Well, according to the information that we received from the Western Cape Education Department, grade 8 to 11, they were not supposed to write exams today. Those exams were rescheduled. The grade 12s have no choice but to write exams, but those exams have been moved to another venue. They were supposed to write physical sciences exams today, but from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. But given the situation here, they felt it was safe for no learners, no teachers and parents to be close to the vicinity of the school. So it was basically a safety measure because according to them, they felt that these scenes were a long time coming. The EFF themselves have been quite vocal as to the sort of treatment that they received from the police and the parents and those supporting the parents of learners from the school. The last time they were attacked here, there were around 6 EFF supporters that were injured during those clashes, with one male who was arrested for discharging a firearm. He is expected to still appear in court in January. So the scenes are still quite hostile here. There's still a standoff. We do know that that memorandum is supposed to be handed at 2 o'clock this afternoon, but EFF supporters kept streaming in their numbers. We are seeing quite a lot of buses that were stationed close to the post office where we are here, and a number of them had received came with their own transport to this area. So we are expecting thousands of supporters to be here to support the cause that they are fighting against, which is against racism.
So do we know exactly what is contained in that memorandum? Do we have an idea of what they're actually asking?
Well, at this stage, we don't know what the information is contained in that memorandum, but what we can sort of speculate, Yuveka, is following that matriculant farewell, that private party, which was staged in Stellenbosch and not inside the school itself. It's believed that there was acts of racism where only white learners were in attendance during that party. The information that we received last week when we covered the story from a movement calling themselves Stop Farm Murders Movement, they said that according to their investigations, black learners or learners of color were actually invited to this party and that many of them could not afford the 500 rands that was expected for them to pay for each learner during that party. And there were also, as we were told last week, that there were also fundraising efforts to raise funds for those learners to attend that party. So for some reason, those learners were not seen, and it sparked quite a lot of outrage, especially on social media. We do know, however, that there are issues of race that the school is trying to tackle. We spoke to the school governing body last week, who said that it's been brought to their attention that there have been issues of race, especially learners taking to social media on a social media account on Instagram, voicing their experiences, where some of them have said that even the teachers, they don't seem to understand that racial discrimination is at the school. So they want to address those issues. The Western Cape Education Department said that they are willing to assist the school with investigations, and that still continues in terms of those investigations.
So, in terms of parents, Ronald, who we know this is where this started, this sort of confrontation almost 2 weeks ago when the EFF clashed with the parents of pupils out there. Are you seeing any groups of parents, anybody else from the community other than the EFF who are outside the school this morning?
All right. Earlier on, we were outside the school, just outside the school, where we saw quite a number of parents lined up near the school. We are also getting pushed around here, Uveka, so we will try and keep it brief before there's any commotion. But just to that point, we did see quite a number of parents who said that although they were told themselves by police and the City of Cape Town and the Western Cape Education Department not to be there because they could also incite acts of intimidation and violence, but they remained defiant. They are saying that they are not only are they there to protect the children, but they're also there to protect the school. And one of the reasons why the EFF was issued by the City of Cape Town that permit for today was that one of the clauses says that the EFF is not allowed to be inside the school, as they might add fuel to the fire, to what we've already seen here. We are also seeing in the background police are addressing the members of the EFF. So we'll have to probably also take a listen to what is going on in the background, Uveka.
Okay, are we able to do that, Ronald? Are you able to take us there so we can take a listen to what they're saying?
All right. I'm going to ask my colleague, Maputi, to move around with me, and we'll just try and move across, Uveka, and get a sense. It's quite a large media contingent as well, Uveka. But I'll just put my mic, and maybe we can try and listen to what's happening here.
He's on his way to me now. Then I will let him speak to you. The conditions and everything, because I see a lot of sticks, a lot of the axes, a lot of axes, and you know for yourself that while you have a march, that can't be part of your march.
No problem.
You have any dangerous weapon on you while you are marching.
Okay, bring you're saying who's coming?
My operational commander can...
Yeah, when they arrive, call me, then we'll deal with it.
Not too sure if we could listen in there, Uveka, but the EFF leadership in conversation with some of the senior members of the police. Those senior members of the police have been here since, a lot of the chaos has descended here over the past 2 weeks. Of course, on Wednesday, we are seeing quite familiar faces from the police force that were here when the PAC staged its own protest. And the PAC were also told back then that they were in violation of the march, that they were not supposed to march. It was an illegal march. They didn't have a permit for that march, and they were quickly dispersed by the police. So we saw similar ugly scenes today as what we saw on Wednesday, and it's unlikely that the scenes that we saw earlier will end, Uveka, because only 100 people are allowed to hand in that memorandum, and we are seeing well over 100 gathered here at the moment.
It certainly looks like that, so it seems police are going to have to find a way to handle this, like you say, so it doesn't spiral into what we saw just over half an hour ago there, Ronald.